much has been spent on this project so far? What's the updated figure that you have?
Okay, so good morning to you, good morning to Palgrave, good morning to all our viewers. And let me begin by wishing our hard-working teachers a happy Teachers' Day. Today is World Teachers' Day, and if we can, English is not our mother language. If we can speak English and if we can read, then we have the teacher to thank.
True.
So we celebrate our teachers this morning, and we particularly salute them for all their hard work. You know the teacher I am very fond of, Professor Nana Jenopoku-Ejiman.
Indeed.
So I extend very warm regards to her, and indeed all my teachers who taught me right from KG all the way, and all of those who have taught us. We celebrate them. Teachers do a great deal of work.
That's right.
Often unrewarded here on earth. We hope that will change, but we celebrate them this morning. The National Cathedral project is one of those projects that have entered the annals as the most scandalous, the most putrefying, the most offensive, and the most desecrating of the holy name of the Almighty. One will have thought that a project that is to glorify God will have begun on the basis of truth, of transparency, of integrity, and utmost cleanliness. That is not what happened. This is a project the president told us would not require state resources. He said that the taxpayers' money would not be put into this project. And yet, as we now know, it was a grand deception. He totally deceived the Ghanaian people, deceived the clergy, and even more sacrilegious, he deceived the Almighty. I had to intercept documents, as you now know, which revealed that on the blind side of Parliament, apparently copious amounts of taxpayer funds were being sunk into this project. As we now know, thanks to the work that the Vote of Censure Committee of Parliament did, we demanded a full account of the releases made from public funds, albeit without parliamentary approval. And it emerged that a colossal, a staggering $58.1 million. At the time, the exchange rate worked out to 339 million Ghana cedis. If you talk about $58 million today, you are approaching 1 billion cedis. So $58.1 million, and this is just taxes. Our taxpayer funds used for the project. This does not include the donations that have come in from all over the world. You would have to add about $3.5 million of donations. That is, if they are accounting properly. Now, Alfred, it is important for me, ab initio, to totally dispel
so
that.
$58.1 million is what we have spent.
Is what has been spent so far to dig that pit, what is now described as the world's most expensive pit, which I'm told in recent times has been upgraded. Since Baumia started talking about an upgrade, it's been upgraded to a swimming pool.
That's what you're talking about.
That is what we see. $58.1 million. I mean, other countries, what they are doing with even $20 million, $30 million. And that is why when the Venerable Bishop Dakeward Mills resigned in his resignation letter, he said that, look, he has built temples, magnificent temples, with far less. That he, at the time, he thought that they had spent about $30 million. And he said that he could no longer take it, that he will be serving on a board where these huge sums of money will be spent on a project. And that is all you see, a hole, a very, very costly pit. Now, in doing this analysis, it is important for us to quickly dispel the notion that some auditors have cleared the National Cathedral Board of Trustees and the Secretariat.
Well, what's the communication that came through?
Good. You see, in this country, let's be very critical. Everybody is just swallowing hook, line, and sinker. The statement put out by the National Cathedral Secretariat, signed by the chair of the board, Professor Apostle Opoku Onyina. We must state for the record that they did not attach the audit report.
They did not attach, yes.
Yes.
We haven't seen.
Nobody has seen that 2020 audit. Nobody. We must state for the record.
Deloitte did that audit.
Yes. They must publish the audit if indeed they believe that they have been cleared. So that's the first point I want to make. If you believe that you have been cleared, that no adverse finding has been made against you, please publish the full, unredacted report. Let us have the full report. You remember the SML matter? There was a lot of hue and cry that we had to really struggle, file an RTI request and all of that until the president reluctantly released it. When it was released, we all discovered that apparently the executive summary, which had been put out, was largely distorted and had left out a lot of significant findings by the auditors. You recall? So we have seen that in this country time without number. And you see, let us make it clear to public officials that when you have been given a mandate, when it has now turned out that this project we started as the president's personal pledge, we are not going to use public resources. Now it is clear that we have used public resources, albeit illegally. You must know that it is the people's money. Every report, every audit, every matter is of public concern. So you do not put out your own interpretation. We all know you are an interested party in this matter. We all know that. You are an interested party. So you have to, as a matter of fact, to build public confidence, make sure that you are presenting this report to the public. So as it is now, let our viewers understand that government has not published this Deloitte audit. It is an interpretation being put out by the National Cathedral Board of Trustees. We need to emphasize that point.
I see this was captured in the letter that was addressed to the heads of churches, and Christian leaders. The date of this letter, which we have a copy of, is the 24th of September, 2024, signed by Apostle Professor Opoku Onyina, chair of the National Cathedral of Ghana Board. Said it convened a meeting on the 20th of September 2024 for Deloitte to brief church leaders in the country on the statutory audit report from the inception of the project to the period ending 31st December 2020. So between 2020 and now, we don't have the details of the report,
yes.
At least the audit as it's being conducted.
So let us all agree that as we speak, nobody in the public, apart from those who are interested parties, who have a vested interest in this matter, who are claiming that they have been cleared. We haven't even heard from the auditors if the claim by the National Cathedral Secretary, and this is a project where I will take statements from people who work there with a pinch of salt.
But is this audit
now
sufficient justification for this project to continue based on what you know?
Brilliant question. That's where I'm coming to. The second fundamental point that I want to make. Let us also understand that this audit that they claim has cleared them is for only one fiscal year, 2020. They themselves, in that letter to church leaders, state that they are waiting for the 2021, 2022, and 2023 audits They have said that.
It forms part of an ongoing statutory audit.
Exactly.
By Deloitte.
Exactly. Now, having all accepted that, that is not in controversy. All of us, including the National Cathedral officials, all admit, we all agree that 2021, 2022, and 2023 audits are outstanding. Let us therefore ask ourselves, what was audited in 2020? What is the financial breakdown in terms of the releases? Fortunately for us in Parliament, we asked the finance minister, when he appeared before the vote of censure committee, to give us a detailed breakdown of the releases that he made. I have a copy of that letter here, dated 21st November 2022, signed by Patrick Nomo, Chief Director, on behalf of the Minister for Finance, and it was addressed to the clerk, to the committee, the vote of censure committee. This is the breakdown that was provided in terms of releases for the National Cathedral project. 7th June 2019, an amount of $89,000 was released. At the time, the exchange rate, it worked out to 445,000 Ghana cedis. 5th March 2021 was the next release, according to the finance minister, $13.9 million, which works out to $80.5 million. Now, it is important for you to take note of these timelines. The 2020 audit, when you do the financial analysis, it is an audit on just 0.13% of the releases.
0.13%.
0.13%. According to the finance minister himself, the document he presented to Parliament on 21st November 2022, by 2020, there had been only one release of $89,000. We are talking about a $58.1 million release. So 0.13%. That is what all of this razzmatazz we have been cleared is about. 0.13%.
So that's the release for that 2020 fiscal year?
Yes, 0.13%. Can you believe that? So sometimes you wonder what these people take us for. 0.13%. Let me read the full breakdown. So by 2020, only one release, 89,000. 5th March 2021, $13.9 million. That's 80.5 million. 10th February 2021, $5.5 million. That's 32 million Ghana cedis. 29th October 2021, according to the finance minister, he released $25 million. That is $142.7 million. 19th August 2021, he released $10 million. That is 58.2 million Ghana cedis. And then on 31st March 2022, $3.5 million was released, and that is 25 million Ghana cedis. He provides a total of 339,003,064 Ghana cedis, 86 pesos, working out to some $58.1 million at the time. So the over 99% of our resources have not yet been audited. 2021, 2022, 2023, that's where 99 and more percent of our taxes were released. So nobody can say that because of some 0.13% audit, which we haven't seen, you have put your interpretation, you are refusing to publish it. So we should come along with you, and that you are preparing to resume this project. And you see, the lack of respect for the Ghanaian people. Who has endorsed this project? If you look at our national priorities, and you see, that leads me to another discovery I made this week.
What's that?
And look,